Defense Staff, officers and ranks of the Guyana Defense Force, please have your seats. There are moments in the life of a nation when duty rises above comfort, when service transcends borders, and when courage is measured not in combat, but in compassion. This morning, we assemble to honor such a moment and to decorate the men and women from the Guyana Defense Force who carried not only the flag of Guyana, but the very spirit of solidarity to our sister Caribbean state of Jamaica. This medal decoration ceremony recognizes a deeper truth. It recognizes that the strength of a nation is reveled not only in how it defends its territory, but in how it extends its hands to others in their hour of need. First, let us reflect on who we are as a people and as a nation. Guyana is not an isolated state standing alone in the world. We are an integral member of the Caribbean community, a regional family bound by blood, history, geography, culture, and shared destiny. And in any family, when one member suffers, the others do not stand idly by. When Hurricane Melissa swept through our region, leaving behind a trail of destruction in Jamaica, it was not a distant tragedy. It was a Caribbean tragedy. Homes were shattered, livelihoods disrupted, and communities brought to their knees. In that moment, Guyana did what any responsible and compassionate family member would do. We responded. We responded not out of obligation, but out of conviction, not out of convenience, but out of commitment. Our humanitarian and disaster relief mission to Jamaica was a living expression of regional solidarity. It was a declaration that the Caribbean is not just a geographic space, but a united community of nations that stand together in times of adversity. It reaffirmed that our bonds are not rhetorical, they're real, resilient, and responsive. The mission to Jamaica was not and will never be a one-off act of goodwill. Guyana will continue to stand shoulder to shoulder with our Caribbean brothers and sisters. When disaster strikes anywhere in our region, Guyana will answer the call. That is who we are. That is what we believe. That is how we act. Second, this mission also reminds us of a sobering and undeniable reality. The world is changing, and not always for the better. The intensity and ferocity of natural disasters are increasing with alarming frequency. Storms are stronger, floods are deeper, droughts are longer, and the Caribbean, our beloved region, stands on the front line of this global climate crisis. Climate change does not discriminate, but its impact are not evenly felt. Small island developing states, like many of our Caribbean neighbors, bear a single hurricane can undo years, decades of development. It can erase progress, devastate economies, and most tragically, cost lives. We have seen it before, and we've seen it again in Jamaica. This is why Guyana remains committed to environmental stewardship. The protection of our environment is a foundational pillar of our national development strategy. We understand that safeguarding our forests, managing our resources responsibly, and advocating for global climate action are not optional. They're essential if the world is to survive. And so, while we respond to crises with urgency and compassion, we must also act with foresight and determination to mitigate the risk. We must continue to raise our voices on the global stage, to demand climate justice, and to protect Guyana and our region from the existential threats posed by a warming planet. Third, today is, above all, about you, the officers and ranks of the Guyana Defense Force, who answer the call to service beyond our shores. You did not hesitate, you did not falter. You did not ask whether the task would be easy. You made us all proud. You carried supplies, yes, but more importantly, you carried hope. You built structures, yes, but more importantly, you helped rebuild lives. You represented Guyana not just with your uniforms, but with your discipline, your professionalism, your humanity, and your skill. In the communities of Jamaica, where you served, you are more than soldiers. You are lifelines. You are comfort in a time of distress. You are strength in a time of weakness. You are proof that even in the darkest hours, solidarity can shine brightly. On behalf of the government and people of Guyana, I extended deepest gratitude. Your service has not gone unnoticed and will not be forgotten. You are true ambassadors. You embody the very best of what our nation stands for. You have demonstrated that the Guyana Defense Force is not only a protector of our sovereignty, but a champion of humanitarian values. You have made your country proud, and as your Commander-in-Chief, I salute you. Fourth and finally, this mission underscores an important evolution in the role of the Guyana Defense Force. In today's world, security is no longer defined solely by traditional threats. It is also defined by our ability to respond to humanitarian crises, to manage disasters, and to support communities in times of vulnerability. Humanitarian assistance and disaster response has become central pillars of the Guyana Defense Force mission. This is not a secondary function. It is a core responsibility. And as such, we must continue to invest in building the capacity of our Guyana Defense Force to respond effectively, efficiently, and rapidly to such challenges. We must respond through training, equipment, and coordination. And today, because of the work of the leadership of the Guyana Defense Force, the investment we have made in the Guyana Defense Force, and the Civil Defense Commission, and the partnership with the private sector, we have positioned Guyana as a leading response agency or country in the region in natural disaster, and we have positioned ourselves as a first mover in natural disasters, and that deserves a huge round of applause for the Guyana Defense Force and all of our men and women in uniform. On that note, I congratulate the leadership of the Guyana Defense Force for their work, for their continued work in implementing our strategic vision and in positioning Guyana as an active promoter of peace and a steadfast defender of justice, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. I also want to recognize the leadership of the Civil Defense Commission and the work of our Prime Minister in coordinating the efforts of that commission to the extent now we are regarded in the Civil Defense Commission as one of the leading agencies in the region contributing to disaster response. And this is important because while we stand ready to assist our regional partners, We must also be prepared to respond here at home. Charity begins at home. And Guyana itself is not immune to the impacts of natural disasters. Preparedness is paramount. The same hands that rebuild homes in Jamaica must be ready, if called upon, to protect and rebuild communities here in Guyana. And I have every confidence that they will. Today, as we decorate these ranks, we inscribe honor upon history. These medals tell a story of courage, a story of humanity, a story of selfless service. Let these decorations serve as a reminder that greatness is not measured only in moments of victory, but in acts of service. Let them stand as a witness to the fact that Guyana is a nation that does not turn away from suffering, but turns toward it with resolve, with compassion, and with action. And let this ceremony inspire future generations of soldiers to carry forward this noble tradition. To the men and women we honor today, your work has elevated the standing of our country. Through your service, Guyana has strengthened its reputation as a nation that offers support, that extends solidarity, and that stands firmly on the side of humanity. You went to Jamaica as soldiers. You returned as heroes. Your example continue to guide this force, inspire this nation, and strengthen this region. Congratulations, and may your service forever be remembered with pride and gratitude. I thank you and your families. Thank you, and God bless you.